because I know I obviously know them quite well, Peter and obviously Harry, and I was kind of thinking that I can almost imagine that there would have certainly been some kind of phone call, even though he may not have been invited. I still think that there would have been a discussion about it because they're close.
Because over the weekend, the royal family gathered for a wedding, the cameras caught nearly everyone who mattered arriving, and one missing face instantly became the whole story. Peter Phillips got married, senior royals showed up, the photos rolled out exactly as you'd expect. Polished, controlled, traditional. But the moment those images started spreading, attention snapped somewhere else entirely. Prince Harry wasn't there. And within hours, one phrase started taking over headlines, clips, and comment sections. Officially banned. The problem? That phrase is doing a lot more work than the confirmed facts actually do. So what really happened here? And why is this blowing up now? On the surface, it looks simple. Peter Phillips, Princess Anne's son, married Harriet Spurling on Saturday in Kemble, Gloucestershire. King Charles and Queen Camilla were there. William and Catherine were there. Zara and Mike Tyndall were there. The Edinburghs were there. Beatrice and Eugenie were photographed arriving too. So the weekend gave the public something unusually visual. A near full family turnout. And when that happens, absence stops looking private and starts looking deliberate. That's why this story suddenly feels much bigger than a wedding guest list. It wasn't just that Harry didn't appear. It's that the family appeared together without him, and the imagery did the talking before anyone else had to. But then, something changed. Before the ceremony, there were already reports saying Harry wasn't invited. Hello cited a friend of the couple claiming Peter and Harry haven't spoken for several years and had simply lost touch, so Harry hasn't been invited. People echoed that reporting and noted Peter's spokesperson's declined comment. That matters, because it means the hardest claim here is not the palace banned Harry. The harder confirmed claim is narrower, that according to a friend quoted by Hello, he reportedly wasn't invited. And once the wedding actually happened over the weekend, that earlier report stopped being gossip in the abstract and became something viewers could now attach to real footage, real arrivals, and one very obvious non-arrival. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, because the word everyone is using, banned, isn't actually the cleanest word the reporting supports. There is, as of now, no public statement from Buckingham Palace, Peter Phillips, or Harry's team saying, Prince Harry was officially banned from this wedding. That's the internet version. That's the high-voltage headline version. The reporting trail is more restrained and somehow more brutal. Reportedly no invitation, reportedly years of distance, reportedly no contact. If that sounds colder than a dramatic ban, that's because it is. A ban sounds explosive. No invitation sounds final. That's also why this has such strong retention power as a story. Viewers don't just react to conflict, they react to visual proof of social position. A wedding is supposed to be one of the clearest maps of who is in, who is close, who belongs in the room, and who doesn't. So when people saw William and Kate arriving, when they saw Charles make it there before heading to the Derby, when they saw cousin after cousin show up, the story stopped being about logistics. It became about rank, alignment, and the silent hierarchy inside the family. No one had to say Harry was out. The frame suggested it, and that's exactly why the coverage exploded. But here's what people aren't noticing. Peter Phillips is not some random distant relative in this story. He matters because he sits in that awkward space between public royal symbolism and private family reality. He's not a working royal in the way people obsess over, but he is still deeply connected to the family core. That makes his wedding powerful content. It's intimate enough to feel revealing, yet royal enough to feel consequential. So when Harry is reportedly left off that guest list, it lands differently than being absent from a giant state occasion. A state event can be brushed off as protocol. A family wedding feels personal, and once a story feels personal, viewers read every image like evidence. What happened next surprised a lot of people. Not because there was a shocking official announcement, but because the post-wedding media cycle hardened instantly. Clips began packaging the weekend as a humiliation story. Talk TV posted a segment centered on the claim that the Sussexes were not invited to Peter Phillips' royal wedding. Commentary channels went even further, converting not invited into banned, because that word travels faster, hits harder, and turns a social snub into a public verdict. That leap is exactly how celebrity narratives mutate in real time. First, there's a sourced report. Then there's a visible absence. Then the internet compresses the whole thing into one emotionally loaded word. And if you're wondering why this blew up now, the answer is timing. Not just because the ceremony happened Saturday, but because it created fresh footage at the exact moment the royal story machine needed a new visual chapter. Old arguments don't go viral forever on their own. They need a trigger image. This weekend delivered one. An apparently united royal family, smiling, waving, stepping into church, while the most discussed absentee remained off-screen. That's not just news. That's algorithm fuel. It gives supporters something to defend, critics something to attack, and casual viewers a puzzle they think they can solve by watching one more minute. Now, here's the confirmed part versus the speculation, because this is where a lot of coverage gets sloppy. Confirmed, Peter Phillips and Harriet Sperling got married on June 6. Confirmed, major members of the royal family attended. Confirmed, Harry was not there. Confirmed, Hello quoted a friend of the couple saying Harry had not been invited because he and Peter had lost touch. Confirmed, people repeated that and said spokespeople had no comment. Not confirmed, that Buckingham Palace issued a formal ban. Not confirmed, that there was some dramatic confrontation behind the scenes. Not confirmed, that Harry tried to go and was blocked. That distinction matters, because once you strip away the louder headlines, the actual story becomes more precise, and in some ways more revealing. Because think about what lost touch really means in a family like this. In ordinary life, people drift. In a global family brand, drift becomes symbolism. One cousin not speaking to another for years doesn't stay private when cameras are outside the church, and the world is counting who stepped out of which car. Suddenly, silence becomes a statement whether anyone intended it that way or not. That's the deeper reason this weekend landed so hard. It didn't reveal a new explosive feud on camera. It revealed how far the distance may already have settled into normal. And that might be the most unsettling detail of all. Then there's William. Not because he said anything, he didn't, but because his attendance changes the entire emotional geometry of the story. Several reports leaned on the idea that Peter is close to William, and Page 6 quoted royal commentator Emily Nash saying Peter is loyal and protective, and that having both brothers there could have changed the tone of the day. Again, that is commentary, not official confirmation. But it fed the storyline people were already seeing with their own eyes. William inside the frame, Harry outside it. Once that contrast locked in, the wedding stopped being interpreted as just Peter's day. Fairly or unfairly, it became another scoreboard moment in the brothers' public split, and that's where the reaction became more visual than verbal. You could see one side of the audience reading the weekend as proof that the family has moved on. You could see another side pushing back, arguing that tabloids are inflating an absence into a morality play. You could feel the tone shift in real time. First curiosity, then smugness from some corners, then defensiveness from others, then a wider debate about whether the royal family's biggest weapon is no longer public confrontation, but selective normality. Keep calm, show up, smile for the cameras, carry on, and let the missing church become the headline on their own. But here's the part nobody is talking about enough. This wasn't a coronation, a funeral, or an official balcony appearance. It was a wedding. That changes everything. Public audiences instinctively understand that family weddings are where private decisions are hardest to disguise. You can fake protocol. You can't easily fake closeness. So if Harry really was not invited, as reported, then the significance isn't just that he missed another royal event. It's that he reportedly missed one of the few occasions where family bonds are supposed to override optics. If that bridge isn't functioning here, where does it function? And there's another layer that makes this more than gossip. It reveals something about celebrity culture in 2026. The public no longer consumes events. They consume seating charts, absences, body language, and asymmetry. The event itself becomes secondary. Peter and Harriet got married, and yet the most viral question was not about the bride's dress, the ceremony, or the couple's future. It was about a person who wasn't even there. That tells you everything about the current economy of attention. Presence is news. Absence is narrative. And a strategically or organically missing person can dominate the entire conversation, so was Prince Harry officially banned. Based on the reporting that's out right now, that specific wording goes beyond what has been publicly confirmed. But was he reportedly left off the guest list? And did the wedding weekend make that exclusion feel newly real? Yes, that is the part supported by the current source trail. And maybe that's why this story feels sharper than the headline. Banned sounds like a single decision. What the weekend may actually have exposed is something more lasting. Not one dramatic door slam, but a relationship cold enough that the door may never have opened in the first place. And that leaves one bigger question hanging over all of this. If a family wedding over the weekend could turn into this kind of viral litmus test, this kind of public measurement of who is still in and who is now simply adjacent, then what happens at the next gathering people actually expect to matter even more? Because once absence starts telling the story this clearly, something about the next chapter still doesn't add up. And this might just be the beginning.